of 8 Simple Steps, and I bring this to you live and in a replay. And the whole purpose of this is to bring you rock star entrepreneurs, regardless of where they are in their journey, to share some words of wisdom, explain to you how they're getting over some of their challenges, the great successes that they're having, and some inspiration out there that all of you entrepreneurs and small business owners can pick up some tips, some resources, and some best practices to move the needle in your business. And tonight, I say it every week, my rock star entrepreneur is Dr. Sam Lloyd. He is the founder of Resenoline.com. And I have to tell you, Sam and I go way back. He was originally one of my students in the START program. So I am very familiar with everything that's kind of going on behind the scenes. So, Sam, I want to welcome you. I'm so glad that you're here.
Well, thank you, Maureen. You're very kind in identifying me as a rock star. I don't quite make that, but again, I appreciate that. And I'm happy to meet with this audience to share with them the experiences that I have and what I've done up to this point. I'll tell you, when I think about being an entrepreneur, I have to go back to my early childhood, growing up in a household with meager means. And my father was a cook who started his own business as a restaurant. And seeing that happen, and then also having 4 brothers and having to work as well growing up, it sort of instilled a work ethic. So in addition to working with those brothers in that family unit, it was necessary to be a team player. Mm-hmm. Given that work ethic, that father figure as an entrepreneur led me on a path that says, hey, look, I want to do something with my life. Not sure exactly what it was, but it led me to work hard when I was in school. And I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship because that was the only way I could go to college. And upon completion of college, I majored in mathematics at the time. I went into the service. I was an ROTC member. And if you know about ROTC, they put you in as an officer. And as an officer, you get a chance to lead. You get a chance to accomplish a mission. And serving in the Vietnam era and so forth, I had an opportunity to build on that teamwork, build on that ethics, build on those leadership skills. And coming out of the service, after spending that time, I was fortunate enough to get hired on by a Fortune 500 company. So I was at the top of my game, but in a manufacturing environment, plant at a low level. So over time, I went to school at night, worked during the day, and managed to acquire another degree. And along the way, the company was, I guess they liked what I did and gave me the opportunity. And that's so important. You never know where the opportunity is coming from. But they gave me the opportunity to move within the company, to take management training, to become a manager on the manufacturing area, then into another level of the company at the division level, in dealing with employees across a large division of about 30,000 people, where we dealt with all kinds of issues and complaints, that kind of thing. And that kind of planted the seed for where I'm going with my entrepreneurship today, because here we were working with individuals who had issues with their managers or issues with employment and so forth. And so I was then promoted to a human resources manager for a large region of the Fortune 500 company that extended from the Northeast to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So I got to understand something about different ethnicities, diversity, and to make a long story short, I ended up at the corporate level working for the chairman of the board of this Fortune 500 company, and so seeing that that kind of progress was possible, and seeing what that company was able to do.
So I have a question for you. You have a lot of corporate experience, but it seems like your early days, all of these like characteristics that you were learning, like all the stuff inside of you, and these tangible and intangible skills were leading you to the future of entrepreneurship. So I'm curious, once you left corporate and became an entrepreneur, what did you find to be the most difficult challenge between kind of a structured environment and climbing that corporate ladder in amazing success to then being an entrepreneur?
Well, there's a world of difference. Oh, by the way, I do some business teaching, but on the corporate side as well. But clearly, this country is based on individual grit and determination. In that cocoon, and you hit upon a good point, in that cocoon of a corporate environment, a lot of things are laid out for you quite well. In the entrepreneurial environment, you become the driver. You become the one who is setting the direction. You're the one, you're working not with necessarily their idea, but with your idea, and you're trying to get those people, those customers who have other ideas to come and join you in your venture. So it's almost to me like starting all over again. And with this venture that I am currently in, and that is what I am encountering, is that as much as I thought I knew and as much as I had, that I now have to be a driver.
Yeah. And you were a driver in a managerial position, but it's a completely different situation as far as leadership. I mean, you have to wear a lot of hats as an entrepreneur and kind of learn by trial and error. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of resources. It's trying to pull out from all these different areas. And you're right, it kind of all falls on you now. Whereas the company kind of took responsibility in a lot of ways, because it's your show. It is your show. So
yeah, and I was guaranteed a salary.
Oh.
But today the revenue has to come from that customer. So it's the idea of what is that I have to offer them, to have them, and if I don't give them something, they're not giving me anything. So,
absolutely.
So it's having the entrepreneurial mindset that as I refer to, as I'm learning that entrepreneurial mindset says that there may be days when nothing will be coming in, and you're very grateful on those days when you do have success. And by the way, if you learn that here's something that works, that wasn't a plan, because a lot of times in the corporate world you have those strategies on the shelf. You're now saying, hey, look, I need to shift because this is my customer base. This is where the revenue is coming from.
You brought up so many things to unpack here. And, as entrepreneurs, we learn that we come up with, great products, a great service. You've come up with some real innovative technology. And sometimes we get so excited about that part that we don't realize that it's all about our customer. It's not about us and what we've created. It's how are we going to serve them to make a difference in their life? How do we change our customer's life? And you're right, that mindset is the customers were coming in for the corporations because they were established. That was like the easy thing. The hard part is really, how do I reach the right customer? How do I engage with them? And then how How do I acquire them? And of course, retention. So it's like this process that all of a sudden it's all on you. So I really appreciate that you're telling people out there that a challenge is, kind of getting out of your own head and realizing that it really is all about them. And sometimes they're tough to convince, aren't they?
Well, there's no question about it. It's tough to convince, but also you're not able to do it all yourself,
Mm-mm.
and therefore, like in my case, we have a team of at least two others who are working with me. One who's worked with me in the development of the website, who had the technical skills to do that, and another involved in the hosting and convincing them to stay on. Certainly, I came up with some revenue, but the other challenge is not having that bucket of money that you need to do all the things that you would like to do. And so therefore, it's a matter of allocating what funds you do have in the right direction. Setting priorities is so important as well. And if you need investors, convincing others to invest with you.
Yeah. And that can be tricky in its own sense. And at the same time, do you want to give away some of your company after you've worked that hard, or you want to bootstrap it yourself, right? So it's kind of a catch-22. So it is a little bit tricky there to navigate. So can you share one huge success that you've had? Because you mentioned something that was very important, and that's to celebrate the days that are really good, to get through the days that maybe are not so good. So can you share one success that you've had?
Well, I think the biggest success so far, and this is a startup for me, is to get that website up and running and the software to function. We've been going through beta tests, and some of the things that we thought were working were not working. So now we're at a point where we have them working. What was interesting today, we've been advertising. Well, it started this week. We received a call. I received a call from a client who was out in California who had a case and wanted my company to look at that case for them. And I was able to refer that over to one of the professionals. So you see, this whole thing is beginning to work. The message is getting out there. And so we had that case just this week.
That's a huge celebration. All right.
Yeah.
That's not a little celebration. That's a huge celebration. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So can you give a few of our viewers out there a little bit of an idea of who your ideal client is? Because you have software, which is kind of in that SaaS realm. So a little bit more complicated, but who would be your ideal client for this software?
Well, first of all, Resoline is a company that's aimed at solving people problems, having people solve people problems. And that's what we're aimed at. And our clients are of two types. And this is one of the things that differentiates us. We bring together one set of clients who are the professionals, arbitrators, mediators, psychologists who solve people problems. That's one set. The other set are those individuals out there who are looking for someone to mediate or arbitrate or solve their problems. And so we're sort of like a shopping mall, if you will, or an intermediary where we have two types of clients coming to us. Now, if you were to look at that in terms of who would be the players, you would look at the baby boomers. Baby boomers a lot of times have progressed in their careers and so forth, and they're in a position to give advice and so forth and so on. Also, we have the millennials. who are oftentimes just starting off.
Mhm.
And then on the other hand, you find the millennials who may be at the point where they are having issues and in their lives. They're just getting started with families and so forth and so on. And so they may run into needs for reconciliation, hopefully not divorces, but sometimes those occur as well. But problems on the job, or problems in being treated fairly, or problems that they haven't grown or matured to the point where they can handle them alone. And so it's kind of an area wherein we bring them together uh, to find the people that they need. So those are the clients that we're looking for. So there are two sets, if you will, and we have to marry them together.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I love the fact that you focused on two generations. You know, you can't serve everybody, right? And so niching your audience, we talk a lot about that here on our live series because that's your first step. Because if you don't really niche down, you've niched down to a generation, to a pain point, right? That's super, super important to different industries. And at the end of the day, you cannot speak to everybody and their different learning styles, their different buying patterns, their different platforms that they're on. So I love the fact that you really honed in on that. The challenge I have to ask you though is you're right. You have two totally different sets of customers with completely different pain points that you have identified. So what is the biggest challenge to go ahead? Because some people just have one and it's a challenge, right? You have two with two sets of messaging. So tell me how you're navigating that.
Well, the way we're navigating it is we put together some messages that we are sending out. We're using Klaviyo, we're using Google Ads. We are finding organizations to which these professionals belong, and we're inviting them over to be a part of Resalign. At the same time, what we're saying to the customers is here we have these individuals who can help you. And oh, by the way, you can probably find them in the phone book or through other means, but you're not going to find them with the software that we have to make it easy to find that large base that, say, for instance, if you have, let's go back to the divorce situation. A family who's going through a divorce might want someone to handle the divorce. That's the legal situation there. But once that's settled, they may need psychological counseling for the children or whatever. Well, they can come to Resalign and have a resolution to that and find it in one place. And oh, by the way, having to go in and out of the offices and so forth without software, the documentation and much of that can be done online as well. So those are some of the kinds of ways that we get them in.
That's great because it's all about simplicity. You know me with 8 simple steps. I always say like the simple sells, right? Make their life easy. And I love the fact that you are able to bring two groups together that can both help each other out. And it's kind of like a one-stop
Yes.
shop is what you've created. Instead of going here and going here and going there, they can just go to you and get all of the services that they need. And that's simplicity. And that's what people want. So you've tapped into that. So now you mentioned, Google Ads and Klaviyo. What are some of your top marketing campaigns that you're using out there that are resonating with your clients?
Well, I think right now it's one of the ones that says that we are not at this point charging. And we are about making a profit, but
Right.
we need to build. And we're talking convenience. We're going to the organization and we're saying, this is what we have to offer, and this is how we can do it better than anyone else. And this is where you can find that support that you can't find. You as I said before, you can find pieces of it here and there, but isn't it great to be able to find it at one place? And we are sending that out to these organizations, and we're inviting them in to talk with us, to visit the website, to try out the software, to register. And as I said before, we're getting the call like we received the other day that says that something is working. Not like we want to yet, but we're getting there. And we invite others to come on with us and to join in with us and to grow with us as well.
So do you give a free trial to somebody as one of your, marketing opportunities where people can try out the software? Because usually when people try something out, they're like sold, they're like, ooh, this made my life easy. So do you give like a 2-week trial or, 30 days or something like that?
Yeah. Well, it's right now we call it beta testing, so to speak. So anyone can come out and try the software. We're not charging at this point. At some point, we will charge a fee, but the software is there. A person can come on and post themselves as a professional offering service or as a client. And if they were to contact me, and of course on my website, resalign.com, there's a way to contact me, and I'll just let them, I'll know based on their contact that this is not a real case. This is not something that they are required to pay, or they're not required to go through the entire process. But what you've done is you've sparked my interest. What we're offering free, but we haven't said play around with it. So maybe that's something we should consider.
Yeah, because I know that if I have, a new email company or like a new video company that I want to try, CRM, that sort of thing, they all give a free trial in order to test it out before we buy. And 9 times out of 10, Sam, we go, oh, this is easy to use. This could make a difference. And then they give you 3 different levels. And usually I always say start with the first one so you see how you like it. But 9 times out of 10, when somebody gets a free trial, they will sign up for it, especially if they've been looking for something like this. And then they buy, they sign up. Even if it's like, be a founding member, right? And get your 2-week trial. And then what you can do after that is, as a founding member, you can get 3 months at 50% off. So do you see the incentives to bring people in and then to keep them?
I see that. What you've thrown at me is an additional software because of the model that we're using. It would say that I have to set up a sort of like a game where they can play, but not have real clients or real professionals.
Yes, you're right. It would give them an idea to see how the software works and feel comfortable about it. And also you checking in with them, seeing, building that relationship. So it's something to consider, because if the statistics demonstrate really high conversion rates, try before you buy, it may be a good way to go.
Yeah. Okay. This is really enlightening. I studied under you before, Maureen, and
Yeah.
So I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm going to have to go back to my team and say, how do we do that?
I'm giving you more work, but you know that it's, for the best, that I want you to succeed. I mean, that's my whole idea, is that, and I want to go back to something. You said you were not a rock star entrepreneur. Okay, let's eliminate that, because
Right.
anybody who is taking on entrepreneurship, okay, who have the courage, who have the drive, who are putting something together like this, you are a rock star. Okay, you're learning along the way, but I've given you some insight on something, and it's up to you what you do with it. But I know you. You're going to go back and you're going to ponder this, and you're going to talk to people about this and say, you know what, this could be, something to do. So I hope that I'm good for something tonight.
Oh, you're good for a lot all the time. But thank you. I just I'm happy to work with you whenever. And I'm still learning. Just like I said before, this entrepreneurial thing, I really love it. It's the American way
Yes.
to go. I mean, it's the top of the game if you can get there. And I'm just happy to play in it at this point in life.
And one, entrepreneurship gives you the power to control your destiny, to work really hard for yourself and not somebody else's success. And if you're going to build real wealth in this country, it comes from innovation. It comes from having your own company. And so for entrepreneurs out there, let that be a driving force for you on top of making a difference for the people who you have created a product for, technology for, services that can move the needle for others in any way, shape, or form. And, entrepreneurship is special and it takes special people. And that's why I go back to, you are a rock star, and everybody I have on here is too. And the small business owners tuning in, you are as well. Because if you're tuning in right now to listen to somebody like Sam and his experience, you obviously want to improve. You want to be able to get your business moving the needle forward, and you're taking it in. So, I want to say thank you so much to you for, sharing your story and letting people know, some of the ups that you've had and some of the downs and how you're making your way through it. So can you tell people again how they can get a hold of you if maybe they want one of those free trials? I'm not going to promote it, but just in case they want to get more information, how do they get a hold of you again?
Resoline, RESOLINE.com.
Awesome.
Resoline.com.
So for everybody out there, please reach out to Sam and learn more about this software, because he really talked about some differentiators. And remember, on this show, we always talk about how great identifying that target audience is. And that's what Sam has done. We talk about differentiators, and he has already made that clear for you. And his value prop, the pain points he's solving out there are double, because he has two different groups. He's taking problems off their hands. So that's how you build the foundation of your company. And I truly know, Sam, that you're going to make a difference, and you're going to make it. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Maureen. And I think you're providing a great service to all entrepreneurs who are trying to make it in this world today. So thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And here, would you do me a favor and return back in 2023 to give people an update of how your journey is going? And,
okay.
And if that free trial was working out. Okay, do I look like I'm pushing you on this? All right, people are gonna be like, just shut up, right?
Well, we have to be pushed sometimes to make it. So
yes,
I thank you for that invitation.
And you know that I'm always very transparent, and I'm very much, it is about you, and anything I can do to help you, that's what I'm here for. So, all right. Well, thank you for being on. We will definitely be seeing you in 2023. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I appreciate that. And for anybody out there who's watching the replay, please go ahead and let us know if we can do anything for you. If you need to get a hold of me, you can go to my website, 8simplesteps.net, as well as just direct message me on all of my social media platforms. And if you are a rock star entrepreneur and would like to be a guest, we are booking guests for 2023. And I would love to be able to highlight you the way we have tonight. All right, everybody. I will see you next week. And I hope you've liked this conversation, because I certainly have. Good night, everybody.
Bye.